Charlie.
Hi, Robbie.
How are you?
Margie, got you to go out to nurseries.
If you start choking to death, you can have one. Or hacking and yakking. Hurt him.
Does anyone have the notes on? You ready, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready, Mark? You have your mic on?
I do.
Not yet? You haven't started?
Mic on? Okay. Good evening. The 767th meeting of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission will come to order. The qualifications of the members of the Commission, the staff to the Commission, and any consultants used are on file with the City and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the Commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Chairwoman Blitz.
Here.
Mr. McSini.
Here.
Councilman Les. Mr. Cocoon.
Here.
Mr. DiLorenzo.
Here.
Mr. Dyer.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here.
And we do have a quorum.
Thank you. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the May the 21st, 2013 meeting. Are there any corrections or comments to the minutes? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Second.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes for the May 21st, 2013 meeting made by Mr. Dyer, seconded by Mr. McSini. To call the roll, please.
Mr. Dyer.
Yes.
Mr. McSini.
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo.
Abstain.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz.
Abstain.
And the motion carries.
Agenda item 3 is HGC 0522013 for 407 Main Street. Hello. You can come up and have a seat right here. How are you? And you're Miss Peter Gay Morrison?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. And you want to put up a sign?
Yes, I'm seeking approval to put up a sign for my business.
Okay. And it's a hanging sign,
Yes,
and it's going to be hanging out of the building?
yes.
Are you taking the whole building, or can you tell us where on the building the sign is going to be?
It's going to be, if you're facing the building, the upper, on the by the second floor, on the left-hand side. We actually occupy the entire second floor.
Okay. So the left-hand side above the door or in between the windows, or
Actually, there's already a
there's already a
bracket there.
bracket there?
It's
Okay.
above the, that picture window on the first floor.
Okay. I see, I didn't see
Oh,
that.
I didn't see it.
I thought there was a bracket. There was a bracket somewhere up there. Or there was one. Because from the second floor, we can actually see the bracket. It's
Okay.
like at the corner.
And it's a double-sided sign.
Yes.
Do you have any questions or comments? It's going to be a laminate. Is it a wood-appearing laminate, or
I
is
think
it a
it's
flat?
wood. Where is the,
TRG, whatever that is. We've seen that before. I don't know what it is.
it's the luster laminate.
Okay. Does it have any sort of, even though it's a laminate, does it have any grain, or is it just a flat surface? Do you?
I think it's just a flat
Okay.
surface.
And is this your logo?
Yes, it
Is
is.
this is what's on your business cards? your
Cards
letterhead?
and letterhead.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to make a motion if there's no other.
Well, I was gonna ask, what's the kind of the building where's the current bracket?
You see the window
Oh,
to
it's
the
right
extreme
under
left.
that window?
See
Is
it?
that it?
It's to the
Oh.
left there.
Seems like it would be difficult to see.
Not if you're walking.
Yeah, or coming from an angle.
You're not gonna see it because it's thin anyway.
You'll see it if you're walking in either direction.
It's 2 feet.
So it's going to be wider more than it is height.
Height-wise, yes. I think it was,
So will be nice.
Madam Chairwoman, I would like to make a motion that we approve HDC 052-2013 as presented to us.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HGC 052-2013, made by Mr. Clicklune and seconded by Mr. Hayes. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McSaney?
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
You're good to go. Thank you so much for coming in. And welcome to the street. Agenda item 4 is HGC 055-2013 for 356 Main Street. And are we just going over it? or are you
Yes, the
presenting?
applicants couldn't appear, and they wanted to know if we could still hear their request.
Okay.
And they gave me a letter, actually, asking that we do that, or
We have the
email.
letter. We have a lot of signs that are similar to this.
I noted on the staff recommendation that the applicant did not provide information on the height of lettering and phone numbers to determine.
We have that now, I believe. Don't we, didn't we get
You have a
that?
new staff report.
Oh, okay,
It's laying on it.
sorry.
We didn't have the measurement for the numbers, for the lettering, and I emailed them today, and they sent me a new rendering with the,
They're big windows. I like the way it's laid out. So the secondaries are all less than 3 inches. I like the font. Anybody?
So, the letters are going to be 6 inches, but the overall height is going to be 16. Is that what I'm reading?
Would it add up if you took every line that they are giving you?
With
No,
the
the-
The letter in
I'm-
the center is 6 inches, the letters on the bottom are 2 1/4 or
Right.
2 and whatever, so if you,
Services,
It says
This-
window graphics.
this stuff is this.
It's 21 inches, I guess.
59 wide, just about 22 high,
And the name is 16.
69, 54 wide.
Do you think they're counting from the top of the beginning line to the bottom of the second line, including the spacing in between?
Yeah, because each line is 6 inches with the space. Everything on the revised. Are you looking at the revised? Lori? Looking at the-
I think they count that whole square in the bottom will be 16 inches.
Sorry,
Oh,
Look at the revised.
Yeah, the revised spells it out.
Right.
Okay. To that point.
Have you ever passed this without applicant any questions?
Oh, yeah. There's no requirement on answerable questions.
Right.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve HDC 6/2013 as presented. I'll second that.
Okay. Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HDC 0552013,
You got it?
made by Mr. McSeany and seconded by Mr. Delarenzo. Would you call the roll?
Mr. McSeany?
Yes.
Mr. Di Lorenzo? Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Agenda item 5 is HDC 0502013 for 408 Laurel Avenue. You are Michael Collins?
Hello.
Or you?
Hi, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Ask?
Hmm?
You had to ask?
I have to make it clear for the record. And you want to
Pardon?
demolish a house.
I want to improve the street, curb appeal.
Got it. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, the house in 408 Laurel Avenue, hopefully you have the pictures in there. I have had a structural engineer in there to certify that it's structurally not sound, the black mold, things that are unsafe about it. I've had a AIA architect also go through the house, give me a letter that it's not structurally sound or safe. And I've actually had the fire marshal for the city also went through, as well as myself. And I invite anybody to go up there. I'd be glad to personally take them in the house and let them take a look at it themselves to see that, you know, the best thing right now to do is take it down and try to put something back up in its kind, which fits on the street in the neighborhood. I think the house that I'm providing will do that. It's the colors that I selected match the ones that I did on 511 Gorman Avenue, which is right across the street from the old 7-Eleven, which it has going to have that look 2/2 windows and the color siding and the metal roof. So I chose that. I had a lot of compliments on that one on 511 Gorman Avenue, which that's why I chose those colors. I have pictures of the houses on each side of 408 and directly across the street. You'll see they're pretty much similar to the one I'm going to build. It's only one house on the street that still has the porch and the columns that I have, and I took a picture of that one also. I'll be glad to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Are there any houses on the block that have an attached garage with it?
None. The only ones up the top of the street, no garages.
None on that
are all-
block.
And none at all are on that street, but at the top of the street, there's a detached in the back, the only one.
Any thoughts of,
The only reason why is today's codes and
Point of
people are
order.
buying.
I think we're
Point of order.
going,
Can we
going ahead of
can we
ourselves.
discuss the request for demolition?
okay, sorry.
Sorry. The house is pretty much in the condition that it's in now when you bought it.
Yes, it's sat vacant for 3 years. It's filled with a bunch of, I think the day they left everything in there. And that's all been filled with water in the basement. The mold is actually a black mold. And it's structurally, we went in there the first day, I sent my guys in there with the dumpster to clean it out. Actually, one of the guys started to fall through the floor, so we pulled him out and we didn't do anything more. That's when we got the fire marshal to take a look at it.
Okay.
He didn't breathe for 2 days after going in the house, by the way.
We do have Mr. Cope
You
here.
didn't
Is
breathe for 2
that your
days?
He couldn't breathe
confirmation?
properly.
That's not good for your
So
health.
while we have you here, Mr. Cope, is that your,
I inspected the
determination.
house, and the house has a lot of structural problems, and you really can't compare the house to any other one that's in demo because of the basement, the roof is leaked, and even though Mr. Collins said 3 years, I believe the house has probably been vacant longer than that. The gentleman that owned it he just recently, within the last year, died in a nursing home, and it was in really, really bad shape, and we took him out of there. One of my biggest concerns about the house is it's somewhere in the last 8 to 10 years, somebody put an additional support beam across the living room floor that's not even supporting the majority of the house. It's just supporting the living room where it was sinking. I did go in the house, I did fall through the floor like everybody else, and I actually wouldn't let anybody else go in the house. I just pretty much said you would almost have to take that house completely down to the foundation and start fresh, and I'm not sure the foundation could be able to remove the mold on that house. But I mean, don't want to go in there.
So was there, when you bought the house in August of last year, there was no opportunity to try and cover or try and stop the deterioration, or?
No, when I purchased it, I actually purchased without going inside it. So I bought it either while I was going to be able to fix it up, or worst case, I'd have a lot. So that's what I spent the lot price to purchase it. When I went in and saw what needed to be done to renovate it, I knew it was more cost effective for me to take it down than to try to rehab it.
Yeah, I guess the damage was done long before you got there, is what it
absolutely.
sounds like. And that's a topic for.
Not only the house structure itself, but the yard itself is nothing but a ponding area every time it rains.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that's a topic for a different discussion with a different part of the city government, maybe. But it's a shame to see any older house go in Laurel.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Who is Mr. Yutter? Y-U-T-E-R.
He's my superintendent, works for me.
Oh. So somebody addressed a letter to you and then put his name in it.
Right, yeah, well, he met him, he went and gave him the tour of the house.
And in a memo that you wrote to Mr. Brock, you said that the proposed replacement would cost $205, and to rehab to meet the code and everything would be $55,000 more.
Correct.
Can you tell us with any degree of certainty that you couldn't recoup the $55,000? You couldn't sell them?
No, the comps in there are going to be lower than what I'm actually going to list the house for. Right now, the comps in there on that street are under 250, and I want to be around 290. Go on Zillow.com and look up that street address, and you'll see real quick.
So if you're going to sell it for $290, and it's only going to cost you $260,
Well,
then it's economically feasible.
well, you 260, and I sell for 290, and I pay the 6% to the real estate agent
Whatever.
carrying. I mean, I am not a nonprofit organization.
I understand. Absolutely not. Yeah, but you can still, economically, you'll still come out ahead.
If I sell it, if I sell it for that?
Yes.
Well, if I don't and can just recoup my money, then it was a loss for me to purchase it.
Anybody else? Questions? I mean, it's a public safety issue at this point with this house.
Pretty much. I mean, I didn't even know, wasn't aware about it, but I got a bill from City of Laurel that they had to board it up, so somebody must have broke in at one time or another on a weekend or something. But it is definitely unsafe to go in there. You'll fall through the floor, I mean, everybody has. I'm sure that, I've talked to a couple of the neighbors on the street, and they're all for me to remove it and put something back nice that'll, help their value of their home also. Right now, what's sitting there does not do that for anybody on that street.
Yeah. It lowers their property value having an empty house on the street like
Yeah,
that.
especially in that condition, right?
Do we know what year the house was built?
It should be on that, isn't the
you know
tax
what?
paper in there?
Robert, I have 1927 dwelling.
And it is what, a Sears modern house? Do you think it's a Collinwood model?
This isn't listed on the
The inventory?
inventory of significant value.
Yeah, I believe it is. Isn't it?
It's a contributing house.
Yes, it is contributing.
The original plan I submitted was a 2-car garage. I did do away with that and make it a 1-car garage. Not so much for the,
Barney, can we just stay on the demolition? Let's stay on the demolition until we make the
Sorry.
decision on that, please.
excuse me.
That's all right.
Anybody has any questions? We have a number of Sears modern homes in good shape within the city, so I'm not sure why that particular home was listed as being a contributing house. I mean, I do, but we do have quite a few others.
Doesn't make any difference how many houses we have that are contributing or like it or not. It's either a contributing house or it's not a
Well, you've
contributing.
had quite a problem with the inventory, Mr. McSenian, that you say that a lot of it is incorrect and that we're trying to correct it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so it can't be both ways, that it's always right or it's always wrong. In any event, this is something, do you have questions? Or did we not prepare?
Are we going to do this in 2 parts, or?
Yes, because from a conceptual, I don't think we can make a determination. We have to have to scale floor plans on the plan. We can make some comments about the conceptual after we decide on the demolition. But you will have to come back one more time.
I'll entertain a motion that we approve the demolition of 408 Laurel, HDC 050, 2013.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HDC 0502013 for the demolition of the existing house, made by Mr. Clicquelin, seconded by Mr. Dyer.
Mr. Clicquelin?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. McSaney?
No.
Mr. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
No.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
We can go on to discuss your conceptual a bit if you'd like to. Does anybody have any comments on that?
Is your proposed home going to have a basement?
Yes.
And you're going to do away with the existing foundation?
Yes, I actually had the engineer checked out. I was going to go back on that footprint, but he didn't think it was sound enough, so.
When you do that, you're going to grade the lot?
Grade the lot, I'll crown it off. I'm going to have some pump in there, so, in the basement, obviously, so I won't have the water problem or cause the water drain off to the other yards like they are now. So right now, it's a low area, and the whole lot is in the back.
There's an alley behind that?
It's not.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Mrs. Murphy, did you have a comment you wanted to make about this property? I'm sorry, I didn't get a sign-up sheet. Are you're just here to see what's going on?
But I can see a personality behind it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, you're going to crown the lot, and where's the water coming from? Just rain, or there's
Right,
not a spring?
it's a low area. Right now, that if you go and stand on the street, you'll see it's just kind of, the whole yard's kind of sunk a little bit. So when it rains, the water goes nowhere.
Oh.
Right now, on a heavy day
It's not like
rain,
you have a spring back there that's...
on a heavy day, there's a good almost 8 inches of water in the back. That's why the basement's, goes to the basement eventually.
I know you just said it was conceptual. You said the windows were going to be 2 over 2.
2 over 2, correct.
This shows 1 over 1.
Yeah. If you notice, everything I build in Laurel right now is 2 over 2, even in the areas that aren't historic.
Is your plan to keep the house in line with the...
Yeah, it'll be in that same line as the other homes, yes.
It was very difficult to tell from the conceptual what
Yeah,
the
that's
actual
true.
house would look
I don't
like.
have a site plan yet.
Long, with no dimension, really.
Is there any possibility of you're considering putting a separate garage consistent with the other garages that are there on that particular block?
I don't think I have,
Perhaps turning it around so that the garage faces the back?
I would do that if I had the width to get a car back there. The lot's not wide enough to give me the garage and the driveway to go back and turn around.
Okay, but how about coming from
the alley? Well, is that alley used for cars right now, do you know? I mean, I haven't,
Yeah,
Why don't
I've
they
seen
use it
cars
for
go up
trash
and down.
pickup, don't they? Yeah.
I will look into that.
Okay. The other thing, is that a wrought iron railing that you have on the porch?
No, the porch, it's actually a wood railing, painted white.
I think my copy had,
Yeah, it does look, but it isn't wrought iron. It does look white, from this picture, I noticed that.
There's no other stone, I don't think there's any other stone on the street.
Laurel, Lars, I put stone on Lars, so,
In that block.
no, there's no brick or stone on that lot, other than the Lars.
It'd be nice not to have stone.
You don't want the stone?
I
All
don't.
right. I'll-
Better
It's
for
not
you,
cons-
isn't
it's
it?
not
And
consistent.
there is brick on columns there, on
Yes,
base of
yes,
columns.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
So, brick would be in sort of in kind with the rest of the block there.
Would you rather have brick on the porch than stone?
I think, I personally would, yeah, by the choice.
Sure.
Yeah. I know stone is sexier these days, but,
I can't even sell brick anymore.
Real?
Everybody wants stone, he's right.
This is pretty close to what you're gonna put there.
Correct. Yeah,
Red metal roof.
yep. Again, if you drive by 511 Gorman and look at those colors, I'm gonna copy those. And so, right next to the old 7-Eleven across the street.
We're not voting on this.
No, we're not voting on it. It's just a conceptual
Mhm.
looking at the plan.
I don't have any other questions about it.
Anybody else? Then I guess we'll see you when you
So,
can bring plans.
Do I have to
and,
resubmit, or what do I bring for the next hearing?
your plans that are to scale.
Actual blueprint drawings?
Yes.
Elevation
We'll have
drawings.
copies of the
Elevation, yeah.
elevations.
We don't need- we
Yeah,
don't
we
need
don't
this.
need.
We
And
don't need
the
blueprints.
interior rooms and everything is
Okay.
totally
Site
of no
plan,
use to us.
Exterior only.
and site plan too?
Yeah, yes, in the site plan.
Thank you all very much.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
thank you.
Moving on, we have 2 staff approvals. Are there any questions or comments about those? I guess we go into new business. Is there any? I have a question on your new business. Is there is a new business in that building at the intersection of Route 1 and northbound Route 1 and Main Street? Blue Oasis or Oasis, they have a sign up. It was a clothing boutique, and it used to be the Peachtree train
Oh, right.
place. Yeah,
I know from building you're
they have
talking
some
about.
a sign up there. I was just
Mhm.
wondering.
Where is it?
It's at the intersection of Main Street and
201.
northbound Route 1. Right when you turn.
It was like a peach-colored
Last time I
house.
looked at that place, it looked empty.
But it has a different sign. It was some sort of a clothing boutique.
I'll look
The
and
last
see if they came
business-
in for a use and occupancy
But,
permit, because if they did, it is always written on, they have to have a use and
Right.
occupancy permit, and it's written on there that you have to come before the HTC for a sign,
Mhm.
and you have to get a sign permit, so
Well,
if
it's
they
like a
haven't come in
little-
for the
It's
UNO,
like a little, like maybe 2 feet by 6 inches sign that's stuck up on the wooden portion of the sign that was there. And it says something like Blue Oasis or Oasis or
This is
something
like
like that.
the,
What used to
the
be
northwest, the old train, the train store?
Yes. Yes, that one. So I don't know what that is, but it's interesting.
but I haven't heard of a business Oasis, so it could be that they haven't even come in for their
Right.
use and occupancy, so.
But
we'll
it just
take a
seems
look at
strange
it.
they put a sign up first before they would move in. I don't know what it is.
Left in a fire. We'll look into it.
Any other new business?
As that other girl that was there didn't last long.
Old business? Mr. Massini?
Did Mr. Fleming approve the meeting for the first meeting? Huh? No?
No, I don't know if I mentioned it after the last meeting that there was a request to have
Yes?
a meeting, and I haven't heard anything back from him. He's out sick today. And I do have your inventory. I had it in a folder back there to bring with me, and I didn't bring it, so I'll make copies, or I'll get somebody to, Robert probably knows how to scan it. In fact, the old original inventory paperwork, I have the actual form, and then I have the grid that tells you what the 2s mean and the 4s mean under all the categories that I said I would see that you got.
Wasn't that included in the book? I have the book. Was that included in the book of the original? I can't, it's hard to believe that this month that inventory is 4 years old already.
I can't.
No,
even
she's
hear.
talking about something
Oh.
that preceded
Yeah,
when the HCC
original,
first started.
the original,
Oh.
when they did it in 75, 76, whatever that time frame
Understood.
is.
Anybody, anything? Record time. And a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.